school newsletter, which for the first time, I am trying an e-newsletter that I will send to all current parents, all current staff, and then that way whenever staff gets a new transfer student in or a new Beach Grove student in, we can actually just email them the link. That's going to help save us a little bit of money, and we're just thinking that's another way to do it. For those that don't have email, then we'll definitely grab a copy email to them. But that's what we're doing. Save on a little paper that way. So we're going to try it. It'll be, I think, a good thing.
Melody, will there be a link on the website to that e-news?
There will. And
Okay.
I'll also put it on Facebook, and I'll put it on Corner Glass. I'll put it everywhere we can put it.
We just get people come in, even now,
Yeah.
asking about, where's the packet? And if
Oh,
I
yeah.
can just take them over to one of the computers and stuff like, and there'll be information on how to get Skyward passwords reset and all of that stuff.
I mean, everything. Well, that's going to be a little bit different because Steph's doing the registration, but this will actually just be, pertinent dates.
Okay.
All the information. Here's how you do your Skyward food service, and all that. That's what that'll be.
Okay.
For any of the other things, they'll get that just the normal way.
And if you can call me with Chet about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
that's
I'll
fine.
figure out.
It just might be smarter to get that Skyward password reset out there sooner rather than later, because we get people like 2 or 3 days before the sign
That all
up
of a
deadline,
sudden-
and they don't know what to do. And when I've come in, I've gotten them on a Skyward, and then they're stuck.
Yeah.
So if there could be somewhere, either a link within the information that you're sending out, because not everybody unfortunately uses that resource, or they did and then they didn't, or
Right.
or whatever. So
That's something we have to physically change ourselves.
okay,
So they would just have to call me.
Okay.
And it literally takes me 5 seconds.
okay,
Oh, you're
and that's
done.
good to
Yep.
know too.
Yeah, so
Okay.
just call me and I can change it very quickly.
Steph is always ready to help, and she jumps on it quick, so that's great.
Maybe you could post the administration direct number, that 788-4481 number, and just have it there, and then.
We can, yeah, I can easily do that. But I mean, you'd be surprised with the number
Oh,
of
sure.
people we get
That's great.
coming into the library to use that e-resource.
The good thing now is that we've consolidated all of that to funnel through, appreciate it, Steph. So Steph is the answer person for all of that.
And she
So
loves
that'll
it.
be
She loves
outstanding.
every minute of it.
And we might even be able to waive the normal, no, you can't use our phones during that
Oh,
time.
appreciate
If you
that.
call the school to get your Skyward information, we
And
can
I'll have,
work something
my
out.
goal this week, it's been a little crazy, my goal this week is to get my flyers done for registration, so I'll just give you quite a few, and you can put them up wherever.
That would be
And I'll have my
perfect.
name and number on every flyer.
And I can post them at each of the computer stations that the
Yep.
CERC people work from, just like we do with the tax number during
Yeah.
tax season, and that
Yep.
way everybody will have it available, and along with the website.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Okay,
And
good.
before I go on, since Jill's brought that too, that I really do appreciate, I want to express my appreciation to the library and all the city hall, because they served as 2 drop places for our early child education review page, and we have got lots of them. I mean, I had to go to City Hall today to pick them up because they were overflowing out of the box.
Oh, wow.
And I picked them up at the library, so they've really, good response, and Erin's also received it via the Google Drive, people mailing it to her, really good response. I think that's very encouraging. So I just want to say thank you to the library, to City Hall for allowing us to do that, and staying through the sewer bill, so that's fantastic.
When will you have all those results?
We're leaving the boxes up through the end of April, so it'll be, that would be Mrs. Purvis' question.
Yeah, that's the length of the boxes we're just gonna collect, and I'm sure I'll have a few scrapbooks after that.
Yeah.
But, I'm getting them in the mail every day right now, which I'm surprised. I was very pleasantly surprised how many we're getting. So I'm keeping them, and I'm keeping all the return address labels, so we know who the folks are we're in support. I'm very, which is, everyone that wants to are all on those teams. So it's been really impressive, the response. The people take their time to quickly fill that out for us. It's really helpful. So keep it up. I can have that for you, an update of what I do have at that point when we have our next work session. Parents come in.
Great.
Because we really appreciate the community response.
Yes,
on
it's
this-
wonderful.
that issue.
It really just shows, I think, how important the issue is and how concerned our citizens are with what, what we do with educating our children. So I think that's great. It's also been on Facebook and Hornet Blast, all that, so we've been getting responses that way. It's just been really great. Education Foundation, the spring grant applications are due April 19th, so we'll be collecting those, and then we have a grant review committee. Ms. King is serving on that, and so she'll be reviewing it for the very first time, so I think
That'll be
it's gonna
fun.
be
I'm looking forward to
exciting.
it.
So what happens after I receive them, they all come electronically, and then within, usually that weekend, it's on a Friday, and usually that weekend, then I put them all together, I send them out to the review committee electronically, so they have plenty of time to review them and score them, and then we come together, the whole committee, as in person, and then we have consensus of what we will fund, how much we will fund, given the resources that we have.
That's cool.
So it's a nice meeting. And then don't forget, the annual district art show is Tuesday, May 14th from 4 to 7. I know that's the same night as our board meeting, but if you could slip over before the board meeting, that would be fantastic. I know our art teachers and our students would really appreciate it. And that's again at our community center. So that's all I have right now.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. We need a motion to approve the minutes, please,
I'll
from
make a-
March 12th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from March 12th.
Thank you, Rick. Do
I'll
we have a
second.
Jill, I think. Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. We need a motion to approve the claims for April.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll
Is that
second
Janice
that.
and Aaron? Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Motion carried. And I don't think we have any public comment unless you, sir, would like to publicly comment on our agenda. Thank you. Okay. And our business update, Dr. Keeley.
And our guest arrived just in time for the best part. So as we go through our numbers, I added a number of things, and I do apologize. Sometimes vendors don't get back to me until Monday morning or Friday afternoon, so I added kind of a medication thing later on. I added the lease. BMO didn't get that to us till 3:22 this afternoon. And then the AAA bids were sent to me by an email, so I added all those kind of things in the business update. So if you have any questions about those couple of motions, you can go through your process to do the BMO 5-year bus lease, and I can explain. Basically, that's the 4 buses. They're going to be delivered in a matter of time so that we can have them all inspected. I ran it through Bob Brund, our attorney, so that I can guarantee him that it could be a government-financed situation. We're borrowing under $10 million in 2019. There's a lot of stipulations, so I answered all of those questions, filled out the tax forms, the I-9, things like that. And then I had the lease actually modified so that it said City Schools of Beech Grove and all kinds of things. So I think it is accurate. The numbers are exactly what we negotiated. Again, that was a process I did way back in December when I did a negotiations process with different banks. I seeked 5 vendors, and BMO came in the least. And it's the same company we bought the buses from, gasoline, not diesel. And we have one payment this June. This replaces our other 5-year lease. So I feel comfortable that this is a pattern that we can keep going. And I think that the next time we could get 10 buses and bring our fleet to all within 10 years old. But that has to wait. I bought 4 now on the bus front plan. It has to wait until our debt falls off. So we got about 4.5 years, which is good.
This is kind of a random question.
Sure.
But do you know how much we save from going from diesel to gas? I mean, I'm sure we're saving something, right?
Well, the bus is 2/3 the amount. Just the bus itself is 33% cheaper.
And then how much fuel, and how much are we saving in fuel going from diesel to gas, you think?
I don't think that's as big a number
Big a deal.
as the maintenance, the oil, the ability for the engine to fire up and get warm right away, the ability to turn it off and on and instead of having to keep it idle.
Sure.
This laundry list, and then the gas price, yeah, those fluctuate, but we buy in bulk. with a tanker that visits multiple school corporations. So we get a whole tanker that stops by. So I'm not sure that the fuel cost is as much as all of the convenience, and then in 10 years, that engine's a rock star, when as you know, our diesel's rattling and couldn't get started, and you know, and the starter's burning so hard that can't get the bus started today, so the starter burns out. So the engine causes other problems. But I'm really happy with this F-Ford F-350 engine. It's a phenomenal idea and changeover right now.
Are we done with the diesels then, as of June, or do we still?
No, we only have, out of our 28 fleet, we're now half gas.
Half.
Yeah.
So we've got a little more conversion.
Yep, buses last 15 to 17 years, so I mean, it's a progressive act that we're into it about 8 years now. So that's why we got the plan, that's a 15-year plan, okay? So that's the lease. We're ready for signatures, and I think Steph has the copy for signatures later, is that right?
I actually got all that.
We'll be ready?
taken care of.
Okay.
I would
Any
think also
questions?
the size of our city, it's not a difference. I mean, if we were Mount Vernon and our buses were running 45, 50 miles a day, picking people up all over the place, then yeah, maybe a diesel would benefit us, but I mean, as
Yeah.
small as we've got, I mean, Rick, you've driven the diesel ever since I've known you.
18 years. I can tell you just as an owner, like he said, the engines are totally different than gas. So they take about 8, on a smaller engine, they take about 8 quarts more of oil. And if you buy oil at a auto parts store, it's $9 a quart. So take that just in an oil change. And then, like you said, the convenience, when I bought my truck, it was flip-flop. Regular gas was 50 cents more expensive than diesel. But now it's flip-flop, so now it's 50 cents. And I'm sure that price savings has to be realized in gas and in diesel. That I'm sure they're buying in bulk, it's still cheaper,
Yep.
but gasoline is still got to be cheaper than diesel, even if you buy it in bulk. So, you know, and then in the wintertime, you know, this winter was horrible as far as 0 degrees, and I'm sure we had some gel ups.
We did. And we had to keep them idling. We couldn't turn it off
Right.
because they exhaust. I guess some of them exhaust water vapor,
Mhm.
and if you turn it off, then the exhaust pipe ends up freezing automatically. So it's,
So in 18 years of me owning a diesel, this is the first year that mine gelled up, and I was just driving down Emerson, and all of a sudden, off to the side I went, and I waited and had to sit there until I could get towed to somewhere it could warm up. So definitely gasoline is the way to go now.
Wow.
yeah, I'm excited about it.
Excellent. Excellent. So, and I think those signatures have made their way around the room, but we need a motion, please, to approve that bus lease and the purchase of 4 new ones.
Yeah, I'll second the
Okay,
motion.
Thank you, Rob and Rick. Any discussion, any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. And we need a motion to approve the lowest bid for the common school roof improvement phase 2 at Central Elementary.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, I'm sorry. Jill? And-
No, it was me.
Okay, Janice, I'm sorry. And I see Beth, I think. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed.
For that roof, we saved $98,000 by doing a bid process that I felt went very well. So this is the part that since it was a certain percentage of the total common school loan, the law required me to go out and get 3 more bids. So I went out and got 3 more bids, and AAA came in again. Since they already had a supervisor that's familiar with the location, they were able to underbid by 30 grand. So the other bids came in at 120 some. So they came in under $100,000, and so we were able to do the final thing. So with that being said, knock on wood, we won't have any leaks at Central in the future, right?
The window project
Thank
is
you.
done, right? All of those are?
Windows are done in
Excellent.
the, and then I'll do the facilities part in a minute, so I won't go through that.
Tom, we put in the packet tonight, and again, we sent you a lot of stuff last night too, we just got some, but we don't really need to go through any great deal of the tax levy information now. We'll do that on the 23rd. But look through it if you have questions. The bottom line is this: if we move forward with what we're talking about, our total tax levy from 07 to 20 will still be over $1 million less. So just kind of look at that document to expedite the meeting, or we won't go through it, but it's in your binder, look at it, and we'll spend a lot of time on that. And just kind of looking ahead to other business where it says fiscal update, future salary considerations. Again, just look, there's an example of the document. Tom
That's
has
what the
up.
document looks like. It's about the 7th one from the very end of your packet.
Yeah.
But it shows you a tax and AV history from 2007 to today. In 2007, we net tax, that means we put it in the bank, 9.5 million. Every year for 7 years, we lost anywhere from $500,000 to 1.9 million in revenue. Till we got down to a point where we receded 5.2 million at our lowest, almost in half. We've now grown that up to 7.3 because the AV's recovering. And so then I wanted to give you an opportunity, Dr. Kaiser and I wanted to give you an opportunity to understand why it's imperative that we're not talking about taxes that are out of line. We're talking about turning the clock back to 2008. So that's 11 years.
But you're saying that 2020 is projected with referendum?
Correct, with what we would, the
Right.
55 cents and this, yes, yes. That's
And another key thing that's in your packet, again, we're
So
not,
you
we don't
can
want to
study
do that
that.
tonight. You'll see with our debt dropping off, we'll be able to actually fill in CPF and do some other things. So, you know, as you look at the total tax impact compared to 7, we're still less.
right.
And, you know, I was talking to Rick before the meeting, you think what we've been able to do over the years, you start looking at that, all the programs and upgrades, it's been fabulous that we've been able to pay our bills. So we think this is pretty reasonable, and like I said, give you a chance to digest all of it. We give you a summary on salary, projects. The one thing we just decided at meeting with our team that our focus needs to be on early childhood and getting the high school site. And then as the debt drops off, and again, that updated one's in there, you can, you know, we'll go through it in a lot of great detail on the 23rd. So take them home, ride all over them. If you have questions in the short term, get it back to us. Robin, Winston is going to talk to the board in our work session a little bit and some other topics. So we just want to get it in your hands and digest it, and we'll come back and revisit that on the 23rd. We'll start at 6:30 sharp on the 23rd and really delve into that in great detail.
Okay, that's all I have for, the cash balance was almost identical to the end of January or the January 1 cash balance, and that's because we had multiple payments. We had a Franklin Township special education payment that was multiple hundreds of dollars, and then we had some other business dealings with insurances and VIBA 401A retirement costs. So you'll see we spent $280,000 more on personnel and special education costs, but it was expected. So our cash flow is exactly the same as what we started January 1. That's a very positive thing because our revenue is significantly reduced right now. So the changes that we made are keeping us flat. And that's a wonderful thing for today compared to our conversations in September and October, correct? I mean, that's a very positive thing. So we're working really hard, and I'm trying to keep you informed on that.
The decisions we made in October, November are helping balance our budget. We predict to have a balanced budget. Again, we'll spend more time on the 23rd to really give you more detail, but as painful as those were, we're going in the right direction. That's very positive.
Okay, I think we got a little bit. Does that complete
Personnel.
pretty much business?
Yep,
Okay,
yeah,
you wanna
that-
go ahead
sure.
and move on to personnel?
I gave you a Excel document in there.
Okay, and I think that was part of the packet we got Friday. It didn't
It
change,
was.
right?
No, nothing, no change.
Okay,
We do have an extra retirement that came up today.
We
Pam-
did. We
Pam in
received
our
a
athletic
letter.
office is going to retire.
Who is?
Pam Stoltz.
Pam?
She's been thinking about it for a while. Her and I have talked for almost 6 to 8 months. She's gonna take care of it.
And she's getting her first grandchild.
Right, there's
Ah.
a lot of changes in her life. It's not us.
Okay.
So we'll bring that in the May meeting, but she asked, said, I could announce that to the board. There's not a more dedicated person in our school corporation than that young lady. I asked her, I said, would you come back and pop some popcorn?
I was just thinking.
But she gave me a big hug today. She goes, it's just time. And it was fun really getting to know her daughter. My daughter played volleyball together here for 2 years, and there's just not a neater lady in the world. And so she'll be around and hanging out, but she's excited about retirement.
When I think of her, I think of Miss Wolf and their husbands and how energetic their personalities are, both their husbands. Great families.
Yeah. Great people.
Awesome. Okay, so we please need a motion to approve the employment recommendations as listed. Beth? Okay, thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jill. Okay, any further discussion? Nope. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Okay, and operations.
I'll just go through a list of summer projects so you know what we've already done. We've ordered auditorium seats, picked out the color, picked out the art. And there's a date of delivery.
What color?
When the old, oh, they're really nice. They're kind of a orange and black weave.
There's a mock-up in our office if you want, down in actually
Yeah, you can sit in
Amy's
it.
office if you want to sit in.
We had to pick from 2 final ones. So they're on their way. Then we have a 2-week break in between when all the old seats will be gone, where they can get scaffolding up, and at that time they'll do the lighting.
Oh, okay.
So then they'll come back after that 2 weeks, and then they have to fill in on every hole that they pulled out of the concrete of the old seats and flatten the floor so that it's smooth, and then they bolt new ones down. So it's a pretty extensive project.
We'll also be doing painting the ceiling
And
during that 2 weeks.
this will be over the summer, or?
This is starting May 25th.
Oh, okay.
23rd, maybe 5th, 25th.
Okay, so what's happening with commencement?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, 'cause
Then-
didn't
Well, I don't know, it's the day after commencement.
Didn't we say the overflow commencement would
Yeah.
be?
That'll be open. It'll be the day after commencement.
So
is that
early June.
That's June.
June something?
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll work it out. You're right.
Okay, we just want to make
Don't pull the
sure.
seats out before we send everybody
We'll
over
work
there.
the seats out.
Yeah,
We'll have to
I
delay
just
that.
paid the bill.
We'll work with Steve. You're right. I'm glad you said that because we will have commencement.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I
Even
mean,
with giving out tickets, there'll be a lot of folks in there.
yes,
So
yep,
you're right.
yep.
Garrett Daniels asked me to look at the windows at the press box at the high school. It's so cloudy, you
Can't see out.
of them, so we're gonna get a quote on the windows at the press box. I don't think it'll be extensive. Concrete repair in a couple of different places. The central, elementary will have their interior bathrooms. We already had the painting done in the central office, so if you have an opportunity to go by that and see the gray stone color, I think it really is professional and nice, and we're happy with that. So that looks good. Middle school will have a new roof deck all along the academic wing. Central will have what you approved tonight done this summer. And the middle school bathroom will have $1.2 million of that common school loan completely renovated on bathrooms, lockers, interior hallways, and a couple of classroom type things. So there'll be a lot going on. Dale and his team will be kind of in a grounds mode and supervising Berkler and different groups around the system. So we'll be really busy, but I don't think it'll overwhelm our people.
Tom, if I had one thing, also, we had the fire marshal out today at central office, because if you've ever been in my office or Tom's office, and you look at that deck, you gotta be careful being on that
Safe.
deck. So we're tearing the deck off, changing our sliding doors to windows, and getting rid of the stairs and that old thing, and so,
Smart.
it won't be very expensive to do, but, it doesn't make any sense to have a deck on a building. So sometime we'll be cleaning that up. I've seen too many little kids when I come by on the weekends, they're running up and down, and so, we've talked about years what to do. It was painted 10 years ago, and even the birds at Tom's Bird Feeder don't want to be on that deck. So it's coming off, and we think that'll clean up the back of the building. We'll do that sometime either spring, and our staff will do the majority of that. But those sliders will come out. We'll put just windows in our 2 offices. Sometimes we feel like jumping off that ledge, but we'll kind of clean that up. Pardon me?
There's one in your office?
Yeah, it was one of mine too. Yeah, but we never go out there, and it's not the best scenario, let's say. So someday you'll come out and say, where did that go? And our staff can do a lot of that work.
Wondered about the safety of that anyway, so, yeah.
Yep.
Can I ask for a personal request? I'm doing you a favor here. When I was at the school this past week, in the hallway where they drop the kids off in the cars, it smelled so bad in there that people, I almost wanted to get sick.
From the dumpster?
No, it's from a sewer issue or
Okay.
something, and I know that they're working on it, but man, it needs to really be fixed. It's
We have the
bad.
same issue at Central, and it costs, it's a very expensive, it may have to take time when students aren't there, because they may have to dig a
I didn't know if they
trench.
could
It's
at
a drain
least
in
look
the
at it
building?
over the summer.
No, they can fill it up, if the air backup is going through there, then there's some things they can do, so I'll put in a work order.
Do you mind? I mean, I'd appreciate that, sorry, Aaron, but
Yeah.
it
No,
was
we'll-
just
we'll make
so
sure the sewer
bad.
gas doesn't back through there, but
Okay.
we have a known issue there that
Okay,
could be an extensive renovation.
There's classrooms back there, aren't there?
yeah.
Yeah.
And you could smell it like in the classrooms and in the hall. I was surprised some kids didn't get sick.
Yeah.
Air testing quality.
Oh, gosh.
How do you know about that? I have,
Okay, yeah.
Do you want an update on some air quality?
Sure. I don't ever want to be Franklin.
We are, we have experienced, in the TV studio room where we had dampness and an environmental effect, we put in a new drop ceiling, changed that around. A couple of staff members said, well, I've been having some allergies too. So we have gone through and we are putting in brand new HEPA filters. A couple of them had not been changed out in a while because they were not on the PMI list, which is what Dean does, and that is a preventative maintenance that they do on a routine factor. There were 3 classrooms that hadn't been changed for quite some time. And so we're gonna put in a higher grade HEPA filter, and then we're gonna systematically go through and make sure there's an audit process this entire spring of every classroom is on the PMI lists. Make sure that our filters are being exchanged, because I'm afraid. And then we're gonna audit them just to make sure that, every filter is a brand new filter every time they do a PMI. Just because we can't just be paying bills and say, are you doing all 127 classrooms, There's a lot going on there. So we have an awesome ability now with the upright units in all of the buildings. Brent Crouch and Dale Reed have on their phones the ability to check humidity and temperature and graph it out over the last 2 months. So if somebody says, oh my gosh, this has been going on, at least we can immediately say, wait a minute, the air outtake valve isn't working, or fresh air isn't coming in, or we can assess that through the humidity and temperature. If the conditions are right, to grow things, that's a bad thing. So we can kind of tell, well, if its temperature's right, and there's no humidity, what else is going on? So then they go to the filters, and they have a bunch of checks that they can do. So we've been doing a lot of that in the last 2 months. I just want to let you know. And so there's a process that we do. And I think that we're catching a few things that we didn't know were going on. Is that, yep, okay?
New guy question. We have a company come in and change air filters?
We have a company that was contracted through the construction project. When Performance Services came in, deemed the contractor as the installer, and they worked on that. And then, yeah, they do PMIs because our HVAC specialists that we had before that, if you do a complete comprehensive list, I could have one employee consistently going through every single room, every single day, going through all of that. But they don't just do that. They check glycol. There's glycol in some of the units. They maintain that. They warranty for warranty purposes. They do all this checklist for every classroom. So it's a preventative maintenance, and it's much more detailed than just a filter change. And I'm not an expert in that area, but Brent and Dale could go through and explain why they would recommend, instead of hiring 1 or 2 more people, it's easier to have them on a calendar where they come through systematically. And then they're not an everyday thing. So yeah, we do.
It's good to have the experts maintaining the machine. I mean, you can always hire extra people, but it's good to have the experts maintaining everything.
Yeah, if they were doing just filters or something, yeah, but they do quite a bit more, and it's my understanding that if we didn't have all the check marks boxes check marked, that we wouldn't have warranties in place, and we have blowers and chillers and all kinds of stuff go bad, so.
The other thing is, we get a huge discount rate from Dean when we have an issue. You know, we use a lot of union contractors, we're non-union, but if, for example, like we just did a new boiler at South Cove, maybe, or I think we're gonna do one. I mean, the price we get for those major things are tremendously different by having to kind of work with us, so there's a lot of advantages to that.
It's hard, but I've had 14.
Oh, really?
Sounds like we have a lot going on with our buildings this summer. Okay, we'll move on to quotes, bids, donations, and purchases. And we need a motion to approve the fundraisers as presented.
Motion to approve the fundraisers.
Thank you, Rick.
I'll second that.
Aaron? Any discussion about any of the fundraisers? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. And we're gonna talk more, when we go into other business, we're gonna talk more about the detailed information we got at the work session on the 23rd. So there's just a lot going on. There's just a lot to think about on this referendum and to consider, and it's pretty detailed. But we do need a motion to publicly,
Publish.
we need a publication note. We need a motion to approve the publication, that's how I want to say it, of the notice for a project hearing. And this is just simply to put it out there in the public, that we're gonna do it. We're not saying we're gonna do it, we're not saying how much we're gonna do, but we need to publish a notice. So we need a motion to do that.
I will make a motion to authorize the publication of the notice of project hearing and preliminary
Thank you.
determination hearing for Beech Grove City Schools.
Isn't that hard to say? Thank you.
Say that 3 times
Yeah.
fast.
I'll second it, but I'm not
And-
saying that.
Okay, Rob, thank you. Okay, is there any further discussion? Because this is simply just a motion to approve the publication. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much, because there's a lot of things to go in. I could see this ream of paper over here. There's a lot to discuss, so. Thank you so much. And we need a motion to authorize giving emergency medication resolution for our students.
I move.
Thank you, Jill.
Second.
And Rick. Any discussion about that? I think this is a follow-up, we
Community-
did the same thing last year.
Yeah, so instead of having an end date, community health came in and they said, hey, we're unauthorizing ourselves at the end of the year. Can we just have it as a policy, as a this is what we do? So I didn't put a date on that resolution where it ends. You have to make a new resolution that it ends. But basically, they've given us a grant to provide for free Narcan for every building.
And the EpiPen, right? The allergic.
Exactly.
Yeah, that,
So those two, and I think there might be asthma
I think so.
inhaler stuff. So it's a great resolution. There's no negatives to it at all.
Have we
And it's
had
fun.
No,
use?
we have not. I will inform you if we have an emergency of that magnitude. But I'll tell you what,
You
it's
could have
just.
a parent come.
I know, at first I thought this might be a negative conversation, but if you can be there for them and it's at a ball game or somewhere and you can get inside from the baseball field and go catch somebody and save their life, and then they can get on the right track and get better, you know what? If we have that at every building, I'm not against that.
And we have a similar thing at the, we have Narcan
Do you?
at the library, and we have Epi as well, and I am trained
Good for you.
as library staff to do that. I guarantee you, at any school event, there are more and better trained people than I am at the library to administer these, and it's a smart thing, because not only for our students, but you never know what parent's going to be.
Thank you.
No, it's all good. Thank you so much. Okay, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passed. Thank you so much. Moving on to policy and guideline considerations, and I don't know if there were any. No? Okay. Committee and community reports. success stories.
I have one. I saw
Okay.
my hairdresser. She lives over here in Beech Grove, and her kid is about to finish his first year of kindergarten.
Yay!
And she spent a lot of time and picked my brain a lot about whether or not to send her kids to Beech Grove City Schools. They talked about homeschooling, they talked about religious schooling, they talked about a co-op, they talked about it going out of district. And she picked my brain a lot, and she did a lot of research. And she said, you know, with him finishing kindergartner, it was the best decision they could have made for their family, was sending them through Beech
Yay.
Grove City Schools.
Good.
Her daughter is receiving speech services at Hornet Park. Her IEP's already in place, and I talked to her about, you know, if we opened an early childhood center, she just had a baby 6 months ago, would you be interested in something like that? She goes, absolutely. So it was just a really nice conversation to have with somebody I see once every 4 or 5 months to say, hey, you know, I made the right decision.
Anybody else?
Steph, how many transfer kids do we have already signed, sealed, and delivered for next fall? Ballpark.
Ballpark about
Yeah.
57. Does that sound good? 57, and then I have a few more that I'm talking with. and then
About 50, we'll see.
50, yeah.
So we're ahead of schedule. We decided we're gonna kick up our campaign, do it earlier, and a lot of rock solid people, and we've turned some people away that don't meet our criteria. If you miss more than 10 school days, or you're suspended or expelled, you don't become a Hornet. We tell them, stay at your previous school, we'll reconsider you at this semester after your academics and your things improve. So we had a chance to meet some wonderful people. The young people I met from Perry today were just wonderful, and so we're optimistic about next year's enrollment and moving forward.
That's not counting a lot that we've kind of taken, like, I'm not counting the ones that I have on my list for next year. We've
Yeah.
taken in a lot this year, so I would say if all the kids show up that we have, then we're looking really good right now. So, because a lot of them have already started this school year, so. It's good.
Wonderful. Any more? I think our kids are great. Tonight was the first sunny day, and I went to the track meet and popped my head in cheerleading. There was supposed to be a tennis meet, but it got moved somewhere. I wondered if that was because our courts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I forget where it went. It went to another city because we couldn't host it for some reason.
But anyway, it was a
Yeah.
great day to be a Hornet, and the kids out there at the track meet looked like they were having a great time, and it was warm. So that is not always the case at a track meet. So,
Another thing, just a success story that we had this evening. Our first Hornet Enrichment Academy graduate happened to be here watching her niece, Emerson, receive Student of the Month. Kim Lasasso was our first graduate, and she was here in attendance. So I talked to her for a second, and it was a really good thing for her, and we were glad to see her here. So.
Beth, your memory astounds me.
yeah.
Your memory astounds me.
How do you remember that?
Well, we've graduated well over 200 kids from that program. And again, the middle school program is going strong. We've got a lot of kids, again, at the middle school, we get them in, our goal is to get them back out. And it's just, those two programs have made a huge, huge difference in the lives of our kids. So I'm very positive.
Oh, I have a success story. Caitlin got notification that she passed all of her classes, and she is officially a teacher as of April 1st. That's very
A
exciting.
lot of hard work. And for those that don't know, she did this online starting 4 or 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Doing a full-time teaching job.
Plus
teaching,
2 part-time jobs.
Yeah.
Plus cheerleading, plus everything else. And she got, I mean, it's amazing to be able to get that done. And Erin, I'll speak for you because you told me that she is just thriving as a regular now. She was doing music, now she's in a regular classroom. She's just, not because you're one of our board members, I just hear great things.
I had nothing to do with what she does at that school. I have
Yeah.
nothing to do with that.
It's kind of an interesting
Good
story.
teacher.
She was subbing, and I said, hey, we've got a music position. Have you done anything music? And she started going on about her background. I said, yeah, so she and Erin met 5 years ago, and she's just,
Yeah.
that's truly is a great personal success story.
We get to keep her for another school year, hopefully?
Yes, at least one.
Yes.
Good.
Yay.
Janice has 2 fantastic children.
I do have 2 great kids.
can I give a personal success story?
Yes.
My daughter, Kayla, who's teaching at Speedway, she said that's the next best thing I could find to Beech Grove. Her husband has got his orders. He's over someplace in the Persian Gulf right now where we don't know.
Can't tell you.
But he applied for and put in to become a drill sergeant at Camp Pendleton. And October 1st through the 31st, he is set to report to beautiful San Diego. And so my daughter has applied for housing, and so she and I are flying out in May just to check out San Diego since she's never been there. But I'm really excited for her. And to tell you how small schools work, she called me tonight overjoyed. She told her principal last Monday what was going on. She was called in to John Disney's office, and many around the table know John Disney. He said, listen, you've done a great job for us. She's a first-year teacher at Newby Elementary. We're going to keep you on contract until the day you leave. We don't know where we're going to put you, but you've just done a wonderful job. You might be helping in a special ed class because she's licensed elementary or special ed. And I just said, Kayla, that's making an impact. And I'm just really proud of her.
Awesome. Our kids are awesome.
And at 2014 Beech Grove graduate. Okay.
Oh,
Just
there you
added
go.
it. Just remember, she went to school
And
here.
now she's gonna go be a part of making Hollywood Marine.
That's right.
Well, I have a quick one, and she's gonna kill me for doing this, but Emily Johnson is here tonight. She's behind the camera.
And yesterday, Angela English, I helped Angela English surprise Emily with the first ever We Before Me scholarship presented by the Foundation. And we told her at the last minute that she was gonna interview Angela, and went to TV studio, and we had Matt's sister and a whole bunch of family members, plus her mom and dad.
Oh,
and
that's
a lot of
nice.
others. Anyway, we were able to surprise her, so congratulations, Emily, we're real proud of you.
Good job. Emily, where are you going to college?
Possibly Nebraska,
In Kentucky? I'm sorry, you're talking into the door, so, okay, good for you, excellent job. Okay.
Hey,
One more thing.
I've got a quick one too.
Yeah?
Riley Dance Marathon
Is Saturday.
is Saturday, so, I believe they were very, very close, if not have exceeded their goal of the $10,000 raised.
And the little kids can come early, is that like 5 or, I'll get the details, but yes. And I think last year it was almost 15,000 some dollars, I think. Does that sound right?
I thought it was about 10.
I was
so,
thinking
but-
they had reached their goal, so, yeah. it
But,
would be-
yeah, they should, but they're, I know every single day they have a different theme, and they've been raising money.
And on Saturday, it's 6 to 8 p.m. it's all grades, and 8 to 11 is high school only. And they reduced their price, it's $5 per student, and any kids K through 8 have to have a parent with them. But the parent is free, so only the student pays the $5 to come in. They're supposed to give me the information about everything they're having every day, but bounce house dancing, all kind of neat activities. So thanks for mentioning that, Erin. That's really going to be a cool event.
Oh, yeah, and don't forget the Marion County All-Star Tournaments on April the 25th. It's free to get in, but they're looking for donations to be given to Mad English Foundation, which could be a really good fundraiser if everybody.
And it will be in this week's Hornet Blast, and all that information for Saturday and for the All-Star Game.
All-Star,
Yeah,
okay.
It's here.
And it's here, we're hosting it.
So those that have known me for a while know that Nick Ward lived with me through most of his school time, and he's now a Marine. He's been deployed for the past 10 months. His wife was expecting, he's supposed to be home in 5 days, but Owen Ward decided it was time to come visit everybody. So Owen Allen Ward, I'm Ricky Allen, came to the world yesterday and beat his dad home. So Nick will be home in 5 days, so hope he gets home
That's
nice and safe.
awesome.
So, which I can't wait to hear his story. He's not been able to tell us where he's been, so
Yeah, you
It's
know
a
what?
scary thing when you don't
it
know
is a
where they
scary
are.
thing.
I was gonna say, as a family member, and my brother's been many, many places, many, many years, Marine, and they'll tell you, you don't need to know. They're fine. They're with their buddies, they're fine. So all you don't need to know. So, they don't want you to know anyway, but you don't need to know.
Okay, can we have a motion to adjourn our
Motion to
regular
adjourn.
meeting?
Second.
Thank you, Rick and Janice. All in favor?
Aye.
Yay. Nobody's ever opposed to ending our
We're
meeting.
gonna
at
try
8:05.
to make our work session short and sweet.